Welcome everyone to the next series that we'll be doing for Total War Attila Medieval Kingdoms. Today we're going to be playing as the Genoese. Our faction trait is La Superba Repubblica, and it gives us extra wealth from naval commerce and income from trade tariffs. We also get extra unit experience for crossbow unit recruits, as well as some extra campaign movement range for navies, and can recruit professional naval units from trade ports. That is going to be crucial when they actually do add navies, because well, quite clearly they have not added navies yet. If you go into naval battles in the mod, it will not be there. Anyway, our first move, also we just get less public order, which will be an issue. Our first move is to look what we have in Genoa itself. We've got a large city, which gives us a few recruitment options and high amounts of different types of bonuses that will be useful later on. We got wheat fields, a trading dock, and a palazzo, or a palace, I guess. Then over here we got our supposedly newly captured colony, Ayako, which historically actually belonged to the Republic of Pisa over here, which would obviously have its capital at Pisa, but for some reason it in game it's got here at Cagliari. Anyway, at Ayako we can upgrade the castle, or we can get to upgrading the local jetty, or we can upgrade this Catholic chapel we've got over here. And what I'm going to do is get a military order priory. Gives us extra replenishment and public order. But other than that, we can recruit some very good units from the Holy Orders. They are going to be extremely useful when we cannot fill up our ranks with Italian knight units, and overall when we do not want the weaker units. For now though, we should really keep that back. We want to upgrade the castle first to actually get the Italian knights. Issue here is that the nobility number is very small. Over Genoa, it's huge. So I could actually switch it around so that I can make a walled city out of this. And a castle like that. That would decrease my population, yes, but what it will do is let me just check public order if I'm getting it correct. It gives us extra public order in our capital of Genoa. It also gives us Italian knights, extra siege holdout time, and in addition to that, provides a strong garrison. And this being a city on the European mainland, which could get attacked, putting emphasis on could, it would need a stronger garrison. So I'm going to do that first as my initial move. Next thing I could do is wait for extra growth. Next thing I'm going to do is to try to work out which technology gives me the sanitation buildings, because that's the next thing I am going to be building. You can be sure of that. Change your plans as well. I am going to just build this shipyard. So there's trading docks here, and then do the other things that I am planning. Apologies for this bit of chaos here at the beginning. Also, we can just get rid of all of these units, and replace them with higher trained ones, which is automatically going to give us a rate of fire advantage. It's not great, it's not a large advantage, but it is worth it nonetheless. We're just going to get 4 of those units as well over the expected number of 6 that we had before. And we're going to go for urban planning to get us a clinic, which will be useful to increasing our public order issues. Getting rid of said public order issues. We're just going to make our oldest son Pietro the heir, and find Alberto a wife. It just happens that he is also a marksman, and being a marksman, that means he is going to add on to our faction bonus over here, which is the La Superba Repubblica, and it's going to give us was it training level 3, training rank 3 units, which is going to be obviously an upgrade from the base units. And we got a man called Teodoro. He would be a decent general due to his replenishment bonus that he gives supply, while Grimaldo would be a good governor. He's an administrator and gives extra money from taxes, so he is going to get assigned to Genoa, and then he's going to be made Castellan. Teodoro also going to become a Castellan, but also going to become a general later on, hopefully, when we have the chance to make it so. Over here we are going to try to get a few trade treaties, and seeing who will accept, because it will be good to get some trade early on with basically everyone not caring at all for anything but of money that we're going to be getting. Over here, and we're trading with the Kingdom of Portugal, and we're going to do an uneasy trade with the Republic of Venice. They are really happy to do that, and we're going to ask for money in return. And we are supporting Antioch. I don't think we're supporting the Latins. We're supporting Epirso, and not at all caring for. Once again, not at all caring for alliances. We are just going to go into a trade treaty. The weakened Republic of Pisa over here is also going to get a bit of trade, but it rejects, and I'm not so willing to begin bargaining for it. And the Principality of Achaia, or Achaia, did say yes, and it's only the French and the Pisans which are stubborn at the moment. France is going to like us more, meaning they might actually accept next turn. We could also get among the Seljuks, possibly. Turns out that they just don't want it, which is kind of annoying, but we can deal with it. And immediately we have enough money to also get this military order priory into place. And this order priory will increase public order, just like the chapel's doing currently, but it's also going to give us extra influence and military order units. Now we'll pass on our turn. Apparently we can still assign the governor, although I don't think we got anyone here. Ferdinando, being a landowner, gives extra agricultural money, but currently agricultural money does not matter that much. We're going to construct rural houses in Genoa, And over here you can see we are at a slight food surplus, and that's because we've got Jet here giving us the food. And other than that, we've got nothing to actually give us food anymore. So going to pass our turn. We're making loads of money. We're dirty rich at the moment. 5,000 a turn currently, which could easily pay for many advancements in our buildings, many upgrades, and possibly many treaties. As a political obstruction, Teodoro is being blocked by some political rivals, and Alberto is not going to stand for it. He's going to decree, but now he hasn't got enough influence to support Grimaldo. Luckily, Grimaldo is really happy to just use all the strength that he has to go in. Alberto is rejected. That's not really a surprise. He's a 45-year-old with 3 sons from his previous wife, so you wouldn't really expect it, wouldn't you? We're still waiting for those crossbowmen, so we can't really do much. No mercenaries added to the game yet. And we're going to decrease the amount of tax we're pulling onto our citizens, and it immediately makes them like our rule more. Why not that much? Looking at the decisions we can make as general, we can reunite the kingdoms of Italy into one state. We'll need Turin, Milan, Verona, Pisa, Bologna, Naples, Taranto, Reggio, and Syracuse. But I would also say Ajaccio, Cagliari, Venice, and Split would make a lot of sense to ask for. So this is going to be the goal for this specific campaign. We're going to try and reform the Kingdom of Italy, or form it, because apparently it's not been formed under the Romans or the Ostrogoths, according to this. Over here, we got a upgrade which will increase our public order, I believe. And then again, I'm not so sure. It does increase public order, and it would actually give more public order than the large city currently gives. But we've got an army to deal with that. Also, for the archers, we're just not going to do anything. In the east, it is better to get archers just because they got the better range. And now we can put Ferdinando in a position over at Aiko, and we can construct railway houses there as well. Slowly but surely, we are beginning to industrialize our lands and begin building up our trade with other factions, which is going to be extremely useful as trade is the name of the game for the Genoese. Then we learn that Alberto has been rejected again, which is a terrible thing, because now the balance of power is lost. Teodoro is devoted, though, to our cause, meaning he is becoming more and more loyal. And now I am going to increase the size of this palazzo, or this palace. I could turn into a gibbet and decrease the amount of corruption, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to increase its size, in fact, and pray for the best. The Hafsids have been attacked by the Sicilians. Another war between the English and the French has begun, and the Crown of Aragon has united with the County of Toulouse to try and screw up the French crusade there. And we got Pope's will here, holding Marseille, which sorry, the Kingdom of Provence, the council. Sorry. It seems just to be a mix of French and Aragonese, guessing by their flag, which I want to bring up. We're not going to get Alberto to find a wife anymore. I'm guessing that's going to fail just like all the other ventures so far. And we keep on waiting for the crusade to begin. Because the way we're going to open our campaign up is we're going to be awaiting the crusade, but we're never going to stop the crusade. No, we're never going to end the crusade until we take all of until we basically colonize all of Egypt over here, and possibly then push into Libya and Tunisia. Be nice to take some of these cities from the Hafsids and the Ayyubids. As you can see, a huge garrison, but only a few actually good units. As you can see, these Maghrebi tribesmen have no charge bonus, and these troops have 5 armor. In addition, it seems like the only decent unit are these Moose Should. So I don't know what's going on here with this large yet absolutely garbage garrison. Guess it's one way of balancing it so that it isn't that much of an issue to take it, even though the towers are absolutely able to shred your whole army. I've experienced it myself. And now we wait for a little bit longer. We are going to move over to Ayako later when we finally train up the units that we need. A new pope has been elected, Honorius III, and we also get a population surplus over at Ayako, allowing us to build a, where is it, a farm, a field to be exact. We are also going to grow the port at Ayako, not Genoa, because Genoa itself already has -4 squalor. And now we're also going to move on to here, where, as you can see, we could have recruited some Guelph cavalry and some Guelph melee infantry, but now we'll have to wait. And you see, agriculture will grow here soon, so it'll be a long-term improvement in gains. For this campaign, I think that we're going to spend a lot of time just on the oceans with our armies and traveling between Europe and Africa, trying to set up colonies all over the Mediterranean, and just overall trying to grow the amount of trade income. And now we get the crusade. Finally, it's been called for Cairo. We are going to skip through the cinematic though, because we've seen it before. If you've played the mod, you will know about it. We are going to get a few extra units, as well as some extra Guelph cavalry. This is going to be the force that is going to go down to the Holy Land. First, so we're going to cancel everything. We are going to join the crusade. And we're going to recruit units. Predominantly, we are going to try to increase our corps of cavalry, because cavalry is really powerful if you're a European faction. In the west, when you get down to the Byzantine lands, and even like the Tsardoms here, I found the cavalry isn't the greatest. Negative up, so we actually get more money from Crusade. We actually do get more money now because of the Crusades. Now we're going to see what we can do, and suddenly we can actually get marriage going. A mean wife, but it does mean that we're not going to have to pay as much to our troops, which is a very good thing. And now we're going to offer some of that money to try to get another trade deal. This time with the Republic of Pisa. And right there and then they just reject. They seem to absolutely they don't seem to hate us, but they do kind of want us dead, I should say. A mariners have set up, and right next to the Almohad capital, I believe that was the old Almohad capital. And it also seems like the Almohads did in this situation win the battle of La Las Navas de Tolosa, because all of a sudden the Kingdom of Castile doesn't have a king, but Navarre and Aragon for now do. So it seems like the Castilian king died during the battle, and then the battle just ended and the Almohads won. Which is annoying, to say the least, because I would have hoped that it would have been a victory for the Christian forces, because that would open up a lot of different places to expand. I am also hoping that yes, I do I need to hear. I hope that with Ayako, I one day will be able to upgrade it, and in turn, just get loads more money. Apparently, the Kingdom of Jerusalem has made a move from Acre to probably one of the Ayyubid cities. And over there, we see something awkward. Also, seems like we succeeded in something, which means we can ask the Pope for money. So we got 10 turns to go on the crusade over to Cairo. We're going to ask the Pope for some money, and from there, we're just going to ask someone for 700 gold, which we can easily do here. By just slowly negotiating a treaty, finally getting 300 there. With Epirus, it seems that they just at all will not accept, and I'm not going to be giving away any of the money. And finally, I seem to have enough to make the upgrade of the castle over at Ayako. Allow me to get some knights. The Cilician army, the Sword of Christ under Avidus, have made an attack on Attila, the only port in the ownership of the Seljuks, and the road has been taken from the from the Venetians, meaning the Venetians have lost one trade post in the Mediterranean. I still got Ayako over in the west of Italy. So just maybe we'll be starting to outpower the Venetians in terms of trade. Who knows? And then we get an invasion and political gain. And because Alberto is so unrespected with such low influence, Ferdinando will be able to gain some extra influence. This man, being hungry for power, has positioned himself to take office without your approval. I cannot do anything, meaning that he's now going to be a castellan. And just so sadly happens to be that this Ferdinando is also the governor of Ayako, the city where my army is currently positioned. Also, while this does seem to be very dumb, I won't be able to go on the crusade later. I'm already wasting loads of time here. You can actually just enter the crusade and not lose any people's favor if you do not finish the mission, I believe. At least that is what happened. And we are going to reject the approve. We are going to reject the alliance between us and the supposed Venetian scum that dares to go against the interest of La Superba Repubblica. Now in the end turn, we see Castilian rebels, and we learn that our leader has died. I don't know what happened there, but Teodoro at the least will be able to take the army. Alberto's died of natural causes, and so has Marie, and the regency has ended immediately. First move of Pietro is he's going to find himself a wife, and we're also going to do one of the dirtiest tricks you can possibly do, and that's get non-aggression and trade in return for marriage, and now we'll also be able to get some money off of them. This is an extremely dirty trick, by the way. They actually rejected. And as you can see, it's actually going to probably go through if I actually give them, if I actually ask for an amount of money that they might agree to. And they do agree to giving me £3,000 worth of gold. Which in turn means I can increase this to a ducal castle, which increases public order even further. As I'm waiting, I learned that scholatism is required to get the physician building, and that means medical orders needs to be researched. So I kind of messed up there, as some people would say, done goofed. And that does mean that currently I'm in a bit of trouble. I can't upgrade any of my buildings because, well, the physician. And here, it's very likely to also explode. And here's where my army is. My main force. I'm forced to end the turn there. I don't really want to make any upgrades currently. And maybe it will just so happen to be a good idea to get a church in place, because the churches do not only give food, but they also increase the influence of religion, and also increase the amount of sanitation that you have, and most of the time ending the squalor issue. And Pietro has been rejected, so we're not going to try that for a while after that. The plan's been foiled here, because you can't get a second church building, you can't get a second chapel, which is annoying, to say the least, but we're just going to build a leprosarium here instead then. We're also going to turn it into a metropolis, and we should be able to keep that up. We learn of the massive growth of Ica at the moment. We're also going to have to choose, do we want a leprosarium here, which only gives 2 sanitation, or do we want a religion building like this, where is it? The Catholic Priory, which gives extra 2 sanitation, but also gives extra food, and it gives us a trade resource, and that does grow in time. As you can see, the hospital gives +8 to sanitation, while our building here would only give us 6, so actually it's a better idea to get the leprosarium, even if it means I need to research a specific tech. And so we keep waiting for our army to recruit, that's 1, and 2, to be able to actually do something with the current situation in the kingdom. Then we learn of a non-aggression pact offer, and we just steal 300 from the treasury in return for the treaty. Nothing really happening this end turn. The papal army is still growing, and then we learn that Cis gets the disease that is in Genoa, and obviously Cis is not our city. It is the Cilician city, here the crusader state of Cilicia, and now it's got consumption. And we also learn that the Cilicians have captured the port of Attila, meaning Muslim influence in the Mediterranean is starting to waver. And obviously for a Catholic nation like us, that is an absolute joyful situation. And with Savoy here, we're going to just begin getting some treaty going. No, Epirus is pretty weak, so we just get Pietro a wife and in return for 3,000 gold. Well, at least I thought so. And this is a bit of an issue, yes, but at least I still get some sort of wealth. The Niceans now hate us a little bit more for that situation with the Emirates. But in return, what we're going to do is join the war against the Thessalonians. And for some reason they reject. I do not exactly know why though, thinking I was asking to join a war. Maybe they saw through my plan. But anyway. Ferdinando over here is going to increase his own tax rate. And Genoa is slowly falling into disrepair again. The plague slowing everything down, growth going down as well. All of that. And then Milan decides to pay us huge amounts of money. 1,000 gold in total just for a treaty. That exact treaty being the non-aggression pact treaty. And for a non-aggression pact, that is loads. And I mean loads of money. In return for all that money, we will have the amount of money needed to upgrade one of the buildings at Genoa. Then Teodoro dies, and we get another man called Augusto. And well, it does foil our plans a bit. It does not mean much in the grand scheme of things. We are still going to be able to upgrade this ducal castle without any issues. And at some point, we are still going to be able to get our Italian night cavalry, which I am awaiting for so long that I am just sitting here without anything to do, just purely to get them. Obviously, with all of my Holy Order units already being taken. Obviously, I could get some Hospitaller cavalry, but well, the Hospitallers are not going to be welcome in this campaign, and that is mainly due to the fact that the nation of Genoa has it's a Guelph nation, and being a Guelph nation means that obviously we're going to favor the people who are also Guelph, i.e. the Templars. Well, at least they seem Guelph, because they've obviously got the same banner, they've got the same leaf, they actually had many bases in the old Genoese lands, and in the colonies of Antioch and Acre, I believe, where they had trading posts set up inside the cities, which were basically their land. They were also normally centers of interest from the Templars. And now here the situation is a bit better, but public order-wise it is going pretty well. And now we're going to upgrade the farm. Obviously next turn we'll also be able to upgrade this to a physician. Same here. This is currently going through a plague. We're going to increase the amount of tax money we're making while at it as well, meaning we're going to be dirty rich. Now this might be a very boring video so far, with us basically having zero wars, zero battles, zero conquest, but it has to be realized that that's currently not what we want. And we're just going to have the Pope pay for a non-aggression pact, meaning we have now taken loads from his treasury. Augusto wants to increase his power. We're going to disallow that. Now that Pietro, the oldest of the sons, has the ability to. You're going to now increase the loyalty of Augusto. Well, Niccolo over here is going to seek a wife for himself. And finally, with our army complete, we can begin the move that we were trying to make for so long. We are going to make a treacherous journey all the way to the city of Barca, to then go along the coast into Alexandria and slowly move down Egypt to the city of Cairo itself. We're going to try to conquer Egypt and set up a huge colony for ourselves, which will hopefully be racking up loads and loads of extra money. Then we get bad news. The Hafsids have broken the trade treaty with us, which is annoying. And once again, the Venetians ask for a treaty with us, an alliance of sorts, but we are obviously going to say a big old no to that. We start war with the Ayyubids, and I hope it stays that way, actually. I want a prolonged war with them, really. Verona asks for a defensive alliance, and I agree to it, because it's better to have allies on the mainland, who are not Venice, obviously. And Niccolo actually does find a wife, and we're going to accept it. Now, looking on, we are still at war with Ayyubids, and the Almohads have lost their king, and a man called Kamar has taken over. Interesting, to say the least. Now looking at the 5th Crusade, there's one turn of the 5th Crusade left, meaning that our journey to Barca might not go through well. And now we're going to get to Barca in 2 turns. We are going to besiege it. If there's an army of the Ayyubids there, even better. I'm now going to upgrade the port here. I know there's going to be a rebellion there soon, but currently it's all about the money. I'm going to get a man called Stefano in to raise a small force of just a few infantry. Just 2 infantry units, while our other force sails down to the holy lands of Egypt, or at least the staging grounds for an attack on the holy lands. Obviously now there is a bit of work to be done. I'll need to reenact the war with the Ayyubids. The Ayyubids attacking a small army over by Acre, seemingly. And now the commune of Verona wants us to go to war with the massive kingdom of Sicily. But we're not going to do that. Or at least not yet. I want to secure African lands before I actually do go to war. And now we got a new Pope, Pope Glorious, and the Crusaders lose. It's basically impossible to win for the Crusaders. And now it's just Verona and Milan that the Sicilians are at war with. We can now we also get a trade agreement with the Marinid, and we do actually do that. And then we have the Tsar of Bulgaria taking Constantinople, and we are able to actually get a trade agreement with them, meaning we are getting dirty rich off of their trade now. It seems like the Latins are on their last bit of power, and it also might just so happen to be that the Latins are going to get absolutely steamrolled. Their lands in Europe now cut off from their lands over in Asia. We're going to continue, and we're going to spring a bit of a trap on the Ayyubids. The Republic of Pisa decides it wants an alliance with us. So we're slowly going to be increasing the amount we want for it. We can get double the amount that they originally asked for, which is just great. Now, keeping to the original plan, we are going to begin moving south, and just checking if I can reach Barker in the normal stance, and I can't. But I do learn that it's undefended and its garrison is absolutely tiny. So good news for Augusto, who according to the game has spent years in the seas. The Hafsids seem to be losing territories because they've lost a few of their trade resources, I believe. No matter that, no, we are going to keep to our ideas, and we're going to just not get any treaties with the Ayyubids for now, that is. Now, the question is, will the Ayyubids be careful enough to actually defend their own city? And will our army actually be able to win from the ocean? And now I'm told to assassinate a man called Abu Bakr. And this Abu Bakr just so happens to be a general of a army, meaning I would have to send an assassin after him, or just kill him in battle. And now we are going to declare war on the Ayyubids. now having the Abbasids go to war with us as well. We get a close victory at Barca, although I wouldn't really call it close. We've got now a colony on the African continent. We have found some success now in marching over here. Now we can get to open planning, and with all that, we can now increase our sanitation levels, which really do need some growing. We did have a failed crusade, meaning that there's going to be some issues in court. Here Grimaldo is going to become marshal. Augusto is going to get a position high up in the court. He is also the person that used the fact that our King Alberto was not really influential to take some power and an office, but whatever, isn't it? I'm also going to check if we can assign a governor, because we can pick between Niccolo, Ansaldo, Pietro himself, and Gregorio, and I decided let Pietro be the governor. And he's also going to begin the construction of railway houses. This does mean Pietro is going to be on the front lines of the war, overseeing the newly captured colonial gains. Our armies also level up, and Pietro is going to be able to increase the amount of tax gained here. Genoa is apparently going to revolt, and to stop that, we are going to begin giving some more units over, some communal units, and now we're going to look at what happens to our new colony at Barca, and what exactly will be the plan of the Ayyubids for this war, which they probably did not even expect to happen actually. Our current plan now is to move right over to Mersa where there's a huge Ayyubid force, which we might be able to face in the field, and if we can fight them in the field, you're obviously going to be able to see it. And we find out that Ansada was able to find someone for himself, that person being educated. We also find out that we did gain political support. Everyone got their offices, no problem. Grimaldo is still disloyal, so we only send someone to make sure that that does not continue. Ansaldo, Augusto's army is nearly full strength now, and we're going to execute everyone who dares to wish to escape, desert our force, get struck down by said force. And the Ayyubids have taken a pretty big hit, as well as the Shepherd of Mecca and the Abbasids not really being the strongest. They are still stronger than me apparently though, so it's a bit scary, I'll say. And here we can get that Catholic chapel, but we could also get a stone cutter. And I decided to go with a stone cutter over the chapel because first of all, our religion is already really high, same here in Ico, and what's really the point of building the chapel when there is no when there's nothing to gain from it other than a bit of sanitation, which while very important currently because we haven't really got a lot of sanitation and a load of squalor, getting more money is going to allow us to develop our lands more, meaning we can upgrade our cities more, meaning we can somehow get extra sanitation as well. The army that was defending Mersa Matruh has now moved over to Alexandria, and the rebel force is now besieging Genoa. This means we are in a huge negative influx. Romaldo's wavering loyalty. We executed all the deserters. There's a food shortage in Genoa right now. There shouldn't be any more. And we are now forced to as well just go and stop such from happening ever again. We're going to send our small force over, and apparently we are at a disadvantage, so we're going to return right back to Genoa and just recruit some units to try and stop it from ever happening again. Over at Barca, we will be able to get to build a donated fief, which allows us to get some of our normal units that we use in our front line, and also helps with public order as well as spreading the religion. Other than that, we cannot do anything with the city currently. We will continue. Bark is still a very Muslim city. Obviously, when Christianity becomes the dominant religion, we will begin striving away from it. We'll begin striving away from the donated fief building, and try to turn it into something like a castle. The army at Alexandria just goes back into the port instead of doing instead of making any actual worthwhile attacks. And it seems like Genoa was being besieged for the second time, which is really just annoying. We're also now bankrupt due to that, which was very annoying. And the Lights of Absolution have moved out of the city, meaning there's a high chance of rebellion. The attacks on Genoa are extremely annoying, and I would happily have them gone. Here I tried to get them to join a war against the nobles, and because they're at peace with everyone, I can't really give them anything. I've got no more money due to all the expenditures, which is kind of annoying. Also, seems like Flanders is not the biggest fan of us at the moment, which is also annoying. And even though we've got a massive empire of trade, these annoying few units consistently and constantly besieging Genoa are causing a lot of trouble. And also forced me to move my army out, because I'm just that stupid. So overall, very annoying that we had that rebellion, and I'm hoping at this point that the rebellion just goes out and perishes, because it is constantly causing us trouble, constantly making it so we don't get any money. With the end turns, the armies defending the northern frontier and our border with the Ayyubids have gone down south, close to the African kingdoms. And once again, the Genoese are just the Genoese rebels are being a bunch of dicks. I am very annoyed with them at this point. And if anything, I would just love to kill them by now. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to march out and kill them. And it's a close defeat, actually, for our troops. And in turn, I'm going to disband them. My war weariness has increased, but I'm going to get a second army under Ansaldo. We're going to reinstate the legacy of that force. And recruit the exact same army. Just purely to deal with these goddamn rebels, who are a pile of very annoying people. Over in the African front, our army's returned, but it's taken attrition because some people up in the north are very angry with our rule. Fernandino is going to just increase his authority, and now also I'm preparing to build a piazza. Now the Genoese are paying for a treaty. I'm just going to give them military access, for double the amount, and they accept willingly. And once again, it seems the Ayyubid forces have changed positions. Once again, they are relocating, and once again, I am guessing I'll have to deal with the Genoese rebels. I am at this point very annoyed with them. I would happily have them gone. But at this point I am not dying from everything going on. In turn, I'm going to rebuild the art. And as an answer to it, I'm going to move the Crusaders of the Eternal City over to Ayako to train up a proper army over some high-tech units. Meanwhile, we're finally gaining some replenishment over in Augusto's army. And while that's happening, I'll also begin to move around the land. I'm just checking it for possible locations to go. Anyway, what will happen next? What will the Ayyubids do to try and counter our attack into Barca? Will we finally be able to stop the rebels under Luca? And all around, will we be able to succeed in our colonization of Africa and gain lands and wealth beyond recognition? You'll see that in the next episode.